testing again today, taking a step-by-step approach. Zeroed out. Meaning changing one thing at a time. Got some beautiful conditions this morning, which is nice. So we'll get her in the water. Still need to focus on my driving, but this prototype version 3 hull is a little different as far as the settings go. Water looks clean. Let's go. And it launches nice. Okay, I got a good full trigger pull, so coming through the transition, right in there, lifted a bit, but then it settled and went nice, like it locked in, which was very interesting to me. So is that aero or hydro setting? $95. Okay, so let's make another run with the lipos heated up. See how she does. And then I wonder, like I said, is it aero setting? That being the hull lifting, coming through that transition, because when I went to the full trigger, it locked right down. It's actually still a wet setting as far as hydro. Hydro being the curved turn fin and the prop shaft angle, to be more specific. Aero being the lift of the hull running through the air. So we'll let that settle just a little bit. We'll go again. But man, that's beautiful. That's a clean run. Very clean. And I'm not surprised at the speed. Like I say, it's wet. Wet setting. I let the water settle and I let the trucks go by. Have better audio. I want to hear the boat too. Hear the RPMs. It's part of the result of your tuning. Loosen it up, and RPMs you'll hear it. It'll spike. Okay, let's go. And there was that same little lift right near the end of the transition. Very interesting. Okay, and that is really promising. That was 2 beautiful runs. No stress. Looks like I need to get her a little bit closer. All right, let's see what we got on that one. Kind of already know what I need to know. 93. Okay, so that's the wet setting. But you got to go through it. You have to step through the tune. You rush it, make a big change or more than one change, and yeah, either blow the boat off, or if it gets faster or slower, you don't know what made the change. So I got all this pollen because pretty much south wind. It's supposed to be southeast all week, and it just stacks up on the shoreline, the pollen. So let's talk about the settings and what is different on this V3. The hull, the ride attitude of the hull, it's 100 thou lower in the back than the front. And I can't tell you anything more than that. It's got to do with a different bottom ski. So version 1 and version 2 were 0. So that's meaning if I'm zeroing off the hull, I got different numbers. No way! Blew off the hose again. Oh, that's that. I thought I had some more offshore electrics hose. That was that original hose, the coil of it I put back in my spares. Okay, it's not doing nothing for me. All right, let me get this untaped and we'll look at temperatures. So in other words, look at the numbers this way. The rear of the tub is riding, so set it on a level surface on the ride pads on the sponsons, and on the bottom ski it's riding 100 thou low in the back, so that would be 0.3 of a degree, or 0.3 of a degree positive that the tub is riding. So it's catching a little bit of air. The idea is to keep it planted in the back. And so therefore, if I zero off this tub, to get 0 to the water surface, I have to have the rear of the curved turn fin swung toward the back. I have to have -0.3 of a degree to be 0 to the water surface. 99.5, 159. Yeah, I think it blew on the first run. 145 on the ESC. Okay, didn't hurt nothing, but it's good I didn't take another run, actually. So I started out with a curved turn fin at 0 to the tub, and the prop shaft angle I had -0.2, which add the positive 3.3 of a degree of the tub, plus it being 0.2 of a degree down. I was running at 0.5 negative on the prop shaft angle, and positive 0.3 on the curved turn fin. And then I also found out I didn't get this 4mm bolt tight enough, so this moved. So it happened at some point in those last 3 runs, and not too surprising, it was a little bit looser the first run, and then it actually tightened up. So this had moved down to -0.7 to the hull, which would be -1 degree is what I was running. So that was wet. So I'm still negative a total. Let's just talk about to the water surface from here on. I'm -0.5 on the prop shaft angle this morning, and I am I am 0 on the curved turn fin. So that's wet and that's wet setting. And it behaved accordingly. but I had to run it and see, because like I just said when I was putting the boat in the water, the settings are different on this version 3 because of the ride attitude of the hull. That all makes sense. So very pleased with that. It responded accordingly to these settings. And again, that's why I do the settings like I do, so I can make a change, see the result. So 95 mile an hour. It's a little warmer today, 65 degrees this morning, dead calm. Not surprised at the result at all, but I needed to know that. So I am now checking my angles post run, make sure nothing moved and everything held. So the reason I didn't loosen up the setting on the prop shaft angle was because, one, that'd be 2 settings at the same time, but I wanted to know, with the curved turn fin set at 0 to the water, how much lift I had, how much aerodynamic lift on the tub. So I know 2 things now. It has some, 3 things actually. So I will not be going back to positive 3/10 to the water on the curved turn fin, because I have some of that is lift from the aero. That's hydro lift, this is aero lift. So it's going to be a combination. I wouldn't ever go at 100 plus mile an hour more than positive 3/10 on the curved turn fin. I've had it where both sponsons just, you know, climbs on the turn fin because of the torque of the motor. Both sponsons were clear of the water, just an air gap, and it just held it. It was crazy, but that's too much loose in the front end at those speeds. So it's, and I'll have to run it and test it, but I didn't want to assume. So it's probably going to be with the added aero lift of the tub now on the version 3, probably be around positive 1 or 2/10 to the water on the curved turn fin. It's not doing all the lifting yet. And then checking it, nothing moved, so those results, I can trust those results. But I had to know that first. And now I can start thinking about where my settings are going to be to get the result I want on the water. Like Joe says, you do something to the front of the boat, change the setting, it also affects the back of the boat. They work together. So this combined angle, or the angle to the water, was negative 5/10 of a degree. It's still wet. Ultimately you get to 0. I will never go pause on that, but that's, I was negative 2/10 when I ran 135 with the version 2. So, and that also, how does that work with the aero and hydro combo of the curved turn fin? So I saw it come up through the transition as I added, went to full trigger, hydro. It pushed the front down, is what I'm thinking. So yeah, and that's the fun part to me. That kind of testing, real world testing. So I've let everything cool down. I reattached this coolant line. Went to my car while I was waiting for it to cool off. It's up to 68 degrees. Still got glass. With this being a wetter setting than I ran before, earlier video, I want to see how it does on laps. Zero it out. Reading. Now this is not a lap setup as far as electronics and the prop, so I'll only be able to get a lap or 2 in, and More than that, I'll overheat it, but let's run a couple laps for fun. Motor's clean, no sticks. Couple more cars coming. We'll wait it out. All right, this won't take long. All right, hauling it. And that's a Ferrari. Water line's still on. What do we got? What kind of speed on laps right there? 74. Not a problem. Yes, sir. So I know Joe Petro, JJ, Martin Truex Jr. are lap guys, and everybody that races running laps. So yeah, it's a big market for him, but I also know he's got a huge following, Zippkits riggers on YouTube. So yeah, see if this design can't target both markets. I think that's the goal ultimately. Looks promising. Don't think I heard anything there. Yeah, 92, 126 on the motor, 128 on ESC. Okay, so we didn't hurt anything. I don't think it's too early to say this. This version 3 is a sweetheart. I haven't even felt everything out about it that I like better. I like how it launches, tracks, turns. Now, playing with some more speed settings. Yeah, kind of feels like it's answering the bell. Version 3. It's looking pretty good to me, Joe.